the beginning of next week, I should have a better idea of if and when the textbooks are coming.
Right.
To think about, I'm trying to avoid having to photocopy from the textbook, but I'll start photocopying the textbook
Right.
if I need to. If this goes on more than about the middle of next week, we'll start doing content and I'll start photocopying stuff. So,
Right.
yeah. Which of these practice skills go with that free response question? And actually, they're starting to list them on the free response question itself, and then whatever content standards are along with that.
Okay.
Along with that, they don't need to know any specific strategies.
Okay.
In terms of like content they might be actually tested on, but it's the kind of data that again might be described in a question, and then this data was, what conclusions could you draw from this or something.
Right.
So it would be the engagement issue of them actually being able to go outside, which I think they'll get excited about.
Yeah.
And then just using it as data collection, and even as simple things as calculating means and then
basic
using,
statistics and stuff.
Basic descriptive statistics.
Yeah. It might be a good lesson to like have the students plan it with you, because like just developing like the strategies and then like the, like you can go through the steps of like, the hypothesis, the data collection methods, and plan it all out at the beginning. Because like when we did our thesis and stuff in college, like that was always like the biggest thing they always emphasized. And like fortunately I had a great professor and she really helped me plan it all out, because there was just so many like little nuances that you don't think about, and then you're just, it's too late. You can't like go back and like fix the data or fix how you're going to like analyze it or count or observe or anything. And so I think that'd be really valuable for the students to witness. It's just like how much planning goes into like designing an experiment and following through.
And they definitely, that's something AP Bio was trying to emphasize.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it sounds like
and so I think it's worth the time. Once you get a little bit settled, I'll give you the materials for one of the units. So there's kind of two options, and you'll probably wind up doing both. I have the units from last year, and they just need to be modified and updated.
Okay.
So probably like unit 4 or 3 or 4 or something. Next week we can figure out which one it would make sense, and you can really take the materials from last year, decide if there are certain things that you'd like to change, as long as it's hitting the same topics, and then we'll go over it. And then that could be a unit. And then I want to create a few enrichment units. What I set up with students is you're self-paced, but you have to be doing biology in biology class. So if you get done, I'll have kids that'll progress very quickly through the material. And they have a couple of options. They can basically never do homework and do all their work in class. Even with that, some of them are going to get things done early. They can peer tutor other students, and I'll work with them. And that's not like a set, you always work with this person. It's more of their name goes on the board and for what units that they're done with, and then people can ask them questions in addition to asking us questions.
Okay.
Then they could work on either an enrichment unit. There's no extra credit for it, but it's the expectation that you're always working on biology when you're in biology class.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's some optional units in the curriculum that I get from kind of the charter school network that we're part of. And so if you're interested in turning one of those into a unit from scratch that I haven't done yet.
Yeah, I can give a stab at it at least.
And then the other thing is, I'm also happy to have like an ecology based, even though we don't really do very much of that. Those enrichment units don't, as long as they're biology, they could be anything that's interesting to you, and we think the kids would be interested in. First period starts at 8:45.
You said we'd be here at 8 every day?
Usually by 8. That's not like a hard and fast. If you have something you need to do in the morning, that's not a big deal. The kids start coming into the classroom at 8:30. They let them upstairs to their lockers at 8:30. Friday mornings from 8 to 8:30, there's a science department meeting.
Okay.
And Tuesdays after school, so like 4:10 or 4:15, is either a whole staff meeting or a grade level meeting after school on Tuesdays. And then it hasn't started yet, but Friday after school, the science department does an after school science club, which you're welcome to or welcome to not do, no pressure there. And then 2 days a week there are what's called student hours. So every teacher is required to have what in a college would be office hours. After the first couple of weeks, what I asked them to do was make their plans for the class, and I would still do stuff in the classroom, but I would only do the things that they specifically assigned for me to do within the context of the class,
Okay.
so that they felt confident that they knew everything that was happening to make that class run.